Game 7 is just a few hours away, and we have a pretty big update regarding Auston Matthews and his impending availability for tonight's game. So I'm going to break that down, as well as a Bobby McMahon update and how the Leafs players are feeling. They spoke out a little bit ahead of the biggest game in years for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Stay tuned for all that in this episode. Before we do, quick reminder to hit the subscribe button if you're a part of that 80% who aren't subscribed. We just hit 8,000, so thank you guys for that. We're on the road to 8,500 now as we produce daily content. And Darius, hopefully this will be a long run here that the Leafs are going to be going on. And the reason I say the biggest game in years is because of all the things all the domino effects and the things that'll happen if they end up losing. But let's just get right into the Auston Matthews update right now. He arrives with the Leafs for their team's morning skate. We'll kind of take you through some of the timeline here of the update. So Darius, this was a good sign, obviously, when we woke up and we saw that. And again, we still don't know fully if he's going to play, but Sheldon Keefe says that Auston Matthews is progressing, but adds there's no determination on whether he'll play Game 7 tonight. And in his subsequent question on the status, he seemed to indicate that Matthews is likely to miss a third straight game as they've been proceeding as they have been as of right now, meaning that they're probably sticking with the similar lines and they're not expecting Auston Matthews to be able to play. And to be honest, I think now the chances that he does play are very unlikely given everything that has come out, especially because of what that comment just said.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone on the team was present and on the ice for morning skate this morning. I don't know for a fact 100%, but there was a video with everyone walking in, like you just showed there, a screenshot of it, and Giordano was there. Everyone was there. So everyone was kind of around the team this morning. The Leafs were being very secretive about a couple things, like they weren't taking line rushes. Everyone was wearing the same color. So they're trying to mess with the Bruins, and the Bruins are doing their own thing too. They changed up their whole routine this morning, but that's a story for a different time. But yeah, it looks like Matthews won't be available again. And honestly, I wasn't getting my hopes up personally. And everything led us to believe that he wouldn't be available. And the injury is pretty significant, whatever it may be. But yeah, it's a tough loss without him. But the Leafs are playing well without him. So if they can continue to do those things and work hard, I feel like good things are going to happen for them. And honestly, they've lost so many game sevens to the Bruins that at some point you would think by the percentages, it has to flip. So it could be tonight, and hopefully the luck does go in their favor. But again, huge news that Auston Matthews looks like he won't be playing. But again, Sheldon Keefe didn't rule it out completely. But again, it's the language they're using leads me to believe he won't be available for the Leafs tonight.
Yeah, and in our video yesterday, based on kind of the reports, when you're thinking and reading a lot of the kind of reports over the past few days, you kind of got the sentiment that he wasn't going to play. We had some reporters saying he wasn't going to play, and now obviously just literally a few hours away, we'll know in about 5 hours from now, or 5 or 6 hours, if he's going to play. But Darius, this is now, again, it begs the same question that we've been talking about for the past couple days. They've been playing great without Auston Matthews. They are not a better team with Auston Matthews, but if it looks like he's going to be missing the Game 7 tonight against Boston, and Boston made some changes on their own. We saw in yesterday's video, that Jim Montgomery was calling out his players, David Pastrnak, all these things. I think they just keep doing what they're doing, and the pressure is all on the Boston Bruins right now. Obviously, the Leafs have internal pressure to perform well and all of that, but they would be the first Boston Bruins American team or North American team to choke back-to-back 3-1 leads. Like, that is really bad, and obviously the Leafs have a lot on the line too, but, I mean, without Auston Matthews, it's unfortunate, but I like the way the team's been playing, and I really like the chances of the Leafs tonight to take this one with or without Auston Matthews. I don't think it really makes a huge difference to whether I think they're going to win the game this evening.
Well, imagine the storyline if you were to come back tonight and then they lose. Like, the stories around that would be insane too. There's so much at stake tonight. It's incredible, really, and it could go either way. But yeah, it just doesn't look like he's going to play. And listen, they're playing well without him. Not saying that they're a better team without him. Obviously, he's a great player, but they are playing well right now. So don't touch anything. If he's not ready to go, don't force him to come back just to play like 5 minutes or something like that, and then he can't continue because of the injury or make something worse. Keep him out if he's not ready to go. The Leafs have been playing well without him. Ride the momentum through the game, and hopefully they come out with a Game 7 victory so we can see Auston Matthews again and Bobby McMahon, which we'll get to in a second. But poor Bobby McMahon, nobody's talking about this guy, and he should be back too if the Leafs were to make the second round tonight.
Yeah. And the biggest part is they have to make it to that point, because if they win this series, then you're looking at a potentially healthy Auston Matthews and Bobby McMahon. But we'll save that conversation, because if they do end up winning, we're going to have videos everywhere, videos galore coming out for you guys. But Bobby McMahon is also taking part in the morning skate. First time we've seen him on the ice, so this is very positive progress and good progression for Bobby McMahon, who, yeah, we mentioned him about a week ago, saying that no one mentioned him, and we didn't really mention him since because he hasn't really been playing or been near to playing. So Bobby McMahon, quote, not too far off per Keith, but will not play in Game 7, meaning he could be available for Game 1 in the second series, and Series 2 potentially. That's not been ruled out. But Darius, I mean, Bobby McMahon had a very good year for the Leafs, a pretty integral part to the team, and obviously his absence has been kind of hidden because of Auston Matthews and because of William Nylander earlier on in the playoffs, or earlier on in the series, which feels like a decade ago, but it was just a week or two ago. What are your thoughts on this? This could be big. Again, it's all lining up for if they win this series, they can come out fully healthy in theory. I'm not sure about Matthews yet, but Bobby McMahon at least, and ready to go for series number 2. Not to get ahead of ourselves, though. Definitely have to win tonight.
Yeah, you got to win the Game 7 first. There's work to do, but everyone should be feeling good about this. I mean, the Leafs should be riding the momentum into Game 7. So hopefully they come out of this and they make the second round. If they do, McMahon will be back. It sounds like pretty early on in the next series if they were to make it that far, and super underrated player. And I think without many people realizing, his absence has been felt in this series. I think he's a really good complement piece to Mitch Marner when they were playing together too. And even just being on the second line, like, he's a really good player to put with Tavares too. They're missing him. They are. And I'm not saying he's someone who can turn a series, but he can definitely help and probably chip in for a few goals, because the second half of the season he played great. So I do feel sorry for him because nobody's talking about him and he started skating again, and all the attention's on Matthews, but it does look like he's nearing a return, and hopefully the Leafs give him the opportunity to come back and make a difference for them this season, because you really never know in the playoffs. If they are to win tonight, which you got to get past this game tonight, you never know what happens in the second round, especially when you have a couple guys coming back, and the dynamic completely changes. So just win tonight. Hopefully we see McMahon soon.
Yeah, win tonight, and then, I mean, you said it earlier, it is kind of crazy how much rides on this game for both sides, really. You think about the Leafs, if they lose, changes are going to stem. There'd be another first-round loss. And the Bruins, if they lose, I mean, I would expect changes from them as well from what they can do. But just the fact that we're here is a pretty exciting time, considering if you think about a few days ago or a week or so ago when they were down 3-1, the feelings were horrible. And now, about a week later, we're back up on top. And Morgan Riley spoke out on it a little bit. He said the mood is good. We're feeling good. We're excited to head back on the road. The belief is high. I mean, if there was going to be a Game 7 to win, Maple Leafs have all the momentum. The Bruins are under pressure. The Leafs have some pressure as well. But Joseph Woll is looking like a brick wall. And it looks like Jeremy Swayman is going to be starting tonight for the Bruins as well. So any final thoughts, Darius, before we wrap this one up and prepare ourselves for what's going to be a wild Game 7, and hopefully the Leafs can come out like they did in back-to-back their last 2 games and just get off to a hot start and dominate them, and hopefully get a goal sooner than they did in the last game, even though they were dominant. They've been the most dominant team now for a couple days or a couple games in a row.
The last couple series with the same personnel to a certain extent against the Bruins, there's been a feeling coming into Game 7 where you're like, oh my God, they're going to blow it again, even though they were kind of riding momentum, except for 2019. But you had this feeling and this dread feeling, right? I feel like there's a different feeling this year. There's a lot more optimism, and there's a lot more just staying in the moment from the players and fans, where if you lose, things change finally. And if you win, obviously you go to the second round and you slay the dragon. So there's a lot of optimism. I think people are feeling pretty good about this. The team feels a little bit different. I don't know what it is. Obviously, I'm saying this before the game. If they lose, it's going to feel the exact same. But it does feel different heading into this game. So I do think they win tonight. I think that they're finally going to do it, just because so many times it hasn't gotten their way, and I think they know it needs to be done. So I do think it happens tonight.
Yeah, I think they win 4-3. We'll see what my prediction ends up being, but yeah, that'll wrap it up. It's going to be a nerve-wracking couple hours while the game is on, but we will have you covered after the game, so make sure to stay tuned for that, and hopefully we can bring some good magic into the Toronto area. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you soon.